think we might be good. All right, it says it's setting up your meeting.
Oh, you live, brother. That thing live, man. I told you that thing go quick. Yeah, we live. I see us on Facebook right now.
All right, cool. We are live on Facebook, ladies and gentlemen. Hold on 1 second. We'll let Facebook do its thing, let everybody know that we are live. But hey, hope everybody's having a wonderful and blessed Wednesday, hump day, middle of the week, whatever y'all want to call it, man. You know, we think of crazy nicknames. Hey, but I have the honor and the privilege to interview a gentleman that I have a ton of respect for, man. Y'all see him on Facebook all the time, talking and sharing his information. Retired military, man. He's having a ton of success. It's been an honor to work with him. I've also served with him in the military, Mr. Willie Ray Johnson. First of all, I want to take time to thank you for you taking time to hop on here. But a lot of people are probably going to see this and be like, man, what are these two guys on here talking about, man? I know both of them probably talk about money. They probably, they're on here sharing something. And as you can see, the title is called The Interview, right? And this is kind of a quick series that we're going to do. We're going to be interviewing some folks, man, and really asking them, when it comes to the power of income shifting, how has those strategies changed your life, right? And for those of you that don't know what we do, we simply teach people some very simple concepts, right? Some very simple strategies on how you can take the average person like myself and Willie and be able to implement these strategies to change your life, right? And this is not about me. So I'm really just going to be asking Willie some questions. I'm going to let him share some information about himself. So first and foremost, just to give our listeners, because we won't be on here long, Willie, but just to give our listeners a little bit of a background about who you are, where you come from, and what your life was, a little bit like before my econ, and what is your life like now that you're a part of my econ. Just share a little bit of that, and then we'll kind of go back and forth and hit a few questions here and there.
All right, man. Well, first of all, man, thank you for allowing me to hop on with the boy that represent that dirty South, man, down in old Augusta, Georgia, man. It's a pleasure, man. But a little bit about myself, man. I mean, not without getting, too long in the tooth, man. I graduated high school, went straight into the military. I thought I was only going to end up doing 4 years in the Army, get my money, go out and go back to school. But, life happens, met a girl, fell in love, started having kids. Babies can't eat books. So, I ended up doing a little longer than I wanted to. But throughout the course of the time, man, everybody always assumed that because I was in the Army, I had this large, influx of cash, you know what I'm saying? And I won't sit here and say that I didn't make, a decent living while I was in the Army, but it was what I was lacking that I didn't really understand until a couple of years ago, until, you being the good friend that you are, introduced me to the income shifting membership and the opportunity. So fast forward, man, like I said, I was a soldier, I made some less than ideal financial decisions. But as I moved and got, into this, and as I started to retire, man, I knew I wanted to continue to work because I always wanted to be a teacher and a coach. So now, with the platform that we've been given now, I can actually teach and coach, about, how to improve your finances, how to take care of your money. And the good thing about it is, like you said, man, me and you are just average people, man. I don't have a degree and masters, finance and none of the other stuff. I'm just an average dude who took an opportunity and, let some people show me some stuff that worked. So up to this point, man, I mean, me and you talk a lot, man. I mean, I know some people might not know my success story, and it's kind of, Terrence always get on us about being humble and trying not to, overdo it. But, I just talk from the perspective of, like you said, we teach 3 strategies, the 3, 6, and the 9. And I was able to utilize the first strategy, and I was able to lower my taxes. And everybody watching, please understand, Willie did not come on here with Nick to tell y'all to stop paying taxes. Pay your taxes, man, please, because one thing about the IRS, they not racist. They take anybody to jail, black, white, Willie Nelson, Wesley Snipes, whomever. So we just learned how to minimize our taxes. And with that strategy alone, man, me and my wife were able to bring back in over $1,100 into our house. You know, that wasn't me having to go to promotion board, having to get a second job, none of that other stuff. And like we always say, we don't knock jobs. We just want you to be smart about it. So we took that strategy, man, took the money, and we started paying off debt. And, you know, minimizing and getting rid of debt was paramount for me, man, because I had enough to give you some and give everybody else some too. But then I started like just kind of sharing the information with people, you know, letting people see what I had saw, letting them get excited about what excited me. And if they made the opportunity or took the opportunity to be a part of what we were doing, then I just helped them. And then, you know, I moved into the last strategy, which is the 9. And, you know, I started doing some investing stuff, man. And, you know, like they always tell you, if you're not investing in America, you ain't nowhere close to being financially independent. So, you know, I ain't there yet, but I'm definitely on the right trajectory, and I can see myself being there in, you know, the next 10 years or so.
Okay. And that's great. And I don't know if you guys caught that, but Willie said in the beginning that he was actually, so simply by applying himself, and some of you might be wondering, what the heck are y'all even talking about when it comes to like, what are y'all doing? We teach people how to start a home-based business, i.e. the comfort of our home. We're not just quarantining right now. We're not on, you know, the COVID-19 lockdown coincidentally, right? We are actually able to work this business out of our house, out of our home, which then allows us to take a lot of the expenses that we're going to pay for anyways and turn them into business expenses, right? And by doing that, for those of us who work a job, right? Because you heard Willie say it, you know, there's nothing ever wrong with working a job, right? This is not a live Facebook bashing jobs, quit your job, 100% go hard in the paint, entrepreneur, quit your job. No, this is actually something that you can do while working a job or jobs, because I know several people that work more than one job, right? And what happens is this is something that's not going to interfere with what you're currently doing. And when Willie said that he was able to give himself $1,000 a month pay raise, because your boss is not going to give you that, right? You're going to get the, 4% or 5% pay raise at the, you know, in January. But if you know how the system works, they give you that pay raise, but best believe they're going to find a way to get it back. Same way they did with the stimulus check, right? They gave out them checks, but they found ways to make people who are less, who lack the knowledge, the financial literacy piece, to know what they should really be doing, the important piece of how to properly utilize that check. So when he gave himself $1,000 a month pay raise, that essentially was not money that, oh, hey, I can go shopping, I can go ball, I can go cop some Jordans, I can go throw some rims on the truck, or I can go buy this big TV. The power of income shifting, essentially, because this is what the wealthy are doing. We just teach it on a lower level, right? This is what people like Warren Buffett, Robert Kiyosaki. These are what people that some of us who are watching this live actually follow. This is what they're doing. And we teach, that's why we say average people, because there's nothing special about me and Willie. We don't have no degrees. We don't, you know, have any kind of programs, you know, Dave Ramsey, none of that. We don't have any of that. This is for average people, because financial literacy, everyone needs it. Everyone needs to find a way to legally, ethically, or morally lower your taxes. Because you heard Willie say, we're not talking tax evasion, we're talking tax minimization. Because everybody does have to file taxes. Not everybody has to pay taxes. And when you start a home-based business, you position yourself to be able to control how much taxes you actually pay, right? And so when he was able to do that, he found a way to legally, ethically, and morally lower his taxes. He had to find a way to eliminate his debt. So he took the new tax dollars, paid down his debt, right? Y'all heard him. What did you say? Over 1,000, 100,000 so far in debt?
Over $100,000 over the course of the last almost 3 years. Yeah.
Who else in your right mind would be able to figure out another way, unless you're in the streets and you're doing something illegal? How would you be able to find a way, or unless you're just that, like I said, that go hard in the paint entrepreneur, you know how to get out here and make that money. But if you knew how to make that money, you'd be making it already. So who in their right mind knows any other kind of way you can go get 6 or 7 jobs? You're not gonna be able to pay off $100,000 in debt in less than 3 years without it interfering with what you're currently doing. You go out and do that. Hey, my hat's tipped off to you, right? And then when you're able to, the power of income shifting works that way, right? In 3 days or less, Willie was able to learn a strategy on how to give himself that extra cash flow. He started, wrote off his lifestyle, and then he's now on the investment side, because at the end of the day, if you don't find a way to make money in your sleep, you're going to pay bills until you die. And that's not to scare anybody, but that's to give everybody a perspective and understand that, man, this has to change. Something has to happen, right? I have to do something different. This pandemic right now should be ringing a lot of bells, a lot of lights, a lot of light bulbs should be going off right now, because a lot of people should be realizing, man, I was not prepared. And this was only what, 60 days? Just imagine if, and I mean, in my mind, it's continuing a little bit longer. But things are starting to open back up. So I'd imagine here in the next 30 to 60 days, some things are going to return to what we call the new normal, right? Because we're not going back to normal. If you go back to what you were before 60 days ago, you didn't grow at all. But what this should teach us is, man, I need to do something different. I probably do need to start a home-based business. I probably do need to see what Willie and Nick are talking about to see if this can have an impact on my financial situation, right? So if I could ask you this, Willie, before we let you go, I heard you did say, hey, in about 10 years, you debt-free, completely on the investment side, running your business. What would you say is the biggest thing the most important reason as to why financial literacy is a must, that no matter what you're doing in life, work a job, own a business, age bracket, whatever the case may be, why is financial literacy so important?
And I think that you remember how in the military, they would always tell us, if you don't know, you don't know. Financial literacy is just like that, man. And I know, especially, with my family and where I come from, nobody was able to teach me about money the way I understand it right now. And I've literally just started scratching the surface on my understanding of it. But I think that, a lot of people, when we start talking about money, it's an uncomfortable situation. It's an uncomfortable conversation because a lot of people don't want to have it, because, they want to continue to live in their bubble thinking that, okay, as long as I keep going to work and the checks keep coming, then I'm going to be okay. When, like you said, the COVID-19, everything that's been going on the last, 60 days or so has really shown people that, everybody's good until you're not. So I think that financial literacy will help you with that, because it'll help you understand that, you need to start learning how to make your dollars work for you. And that's basically all I did in my testimony, man. I just learned how to make my dollars started working for me, because as opposed to, like you said earlier, going out and copping the Jordans and all this other stuff, and if that's what you do, that's fine. But I look at it like this: why am I going to go buy Jordans when I can invest in the Jordans and have them continue to pay me? You see what I'm saying? And I think that when we start talking about this, and I think that a lot of people got to understand, like you said, we're not Warren Buffett and Bill Gates. Like, we're not sitting here already billionaires and millionaires. We are literally creating that as we're going, and we're showing people how to do it. And the part about it is the literacy piece. Like, a lot of people don't like being told what to do. And if they feel like you're doing that, then they'll run from you. I'm just telling you that you got to figure out how to make your money work for you. And that's what, for me, that's what it's been. And I'm even to the point now, man, where I do it with my kids, man, my boys. We doing some reading right now. Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Hey, pick that book up. It'll give you some stuff that'll enlighten you. I read it before, but because I wasn't at a financial literate point to where I could understand what was going on. Now, when I read it, I'm like, okay, got it. I understand that. That makes sense. And I think a lot of people just gotta be okay with not knowing, but you can't be okay with not being educated about what you don't know. That's when you put yourself at a disadvantage.
Yeah, definitely. And I agree. And before we close this out, you brought up a great point. And really, it's when it comes to financial literacy, when it comes to Because at some point you're gonna have to pull out the paperwork. You're gonna have to pull out the books. You're gonna have to sit down and really take a real look at where you stand and have a real conversation about your money. A lot of people don't want to do that. A lot of people like to, keep the shades on and just say, hey, cool, I'm gonna keep on going and just pray to God that everything works out and I'm just gonna get by, right? And I'm not gonna get on here and preach, but God gave us He already blessed us with the ability to gain wealth. We were put on this earth to be fruitful and to build wealth. So what we have to understand is that it's all about investing in ourselves. It's all about taking advantage of what's out there, because you should be doing this anyways. We should be managing our own money anyways. Why not just start a home-based business for less than $1.17 a day and learn how to do it the right way, and then teach everybody in your circle how to do it? That's how you make an impact. That's how you break those generational curses. Teaching the kids, teaching people, stop getting on social media and talking about all this other stuff. Let's talk about what we really need to focus on. And that's really what's going to make the impact. Because believe it or not, Willie, during this pandemic, man, it's been crazy. I've seen people losing jobs and panicking. Unemployment's over 4 million people that's filed for unemployment. But believe it or not, there's people right now that have their feet kicked up, because from a financial standpoint, mentally, right, it's affected all of us. But from a financial standpoint, there are some people that have their feet kicked up right now. And hey, I'm cool, man, because they made that investment a while back, not even knowing about what was going to happen. They just made that investment, because what we teach you is how to take control of your economy. So when things go wrong in the economy, it won't affect you as much, man. So, hey, definitely appreciate you, brother. I wanted to, we can get on here and talk for hours, man, but I wanted our guests, people that follow you, people that follow me, to really hear, the insides. They hear that we talk about finances. They hear we talk about financial literacy, how we help people, take back control of their economy, man, to make that impact. And today, we had a real conversation about money, man. And hopefully, people that are following you, they'll take heed to this information. Those of you that follow me, y'all know the deal. But hey, if you want more information and you're willing and open to learning how to better your finances, right? And it's not necessarily saying you're in a bad situation, but being open to learning these strategies that can possibly break you out of that generational curse that you're in, or put you in position to where you're no longer living paycheck to paycheck, or you can walk off of that second job and get back more time with the family. You can fix your credit score. You can learn about investing. You can start building your way to financial freedom. If that's something that you are open and willing to learn about, and you follow Willie, hey, y'all, go ahead and get back with him. Inbox him. If you have his personal number, I'm not going to put it out here, but if you have his number already, hey, go ahead and get back with Willie, man, and just tell him, hey, I heard the interview, man. It sounds like some information that might be beneficial to me. Hey, just let him know. Hey, I'm open to learning. I'm willing to learn. And y'all know the deal with me. If you got my number, hit me up, inbox me, because to share this information to those who are willing and open and hungry to change in the situation. Because believe it or not, whether you apply these strategies talking with us, you got to figure out a way to lower your taxes, pay off your debt, write off your lifestyle, and learn how to invest, man. So that's our time, man. Again, Willie Johnson, I definitely appreciate you, man. I got much love for you outside of the business. We have a personal relationship, man. Nothing but respect for you, man. Powerful testimony. Y'all know yours truly, Nick Woodard, jumping on here, man. We're going to be doing a series throughout this week. So y'all stay tuned, tag a friend, share this video, and we will see y'all in the next one. Y'all have a blessed one. Peace.